This didn't happen so long ago that I've forgotten about it, but it's not like it happened last week either. I no longer live where this story took place, so that's why I feel comfortable talking about it now. I had just moved to a new city for a promotion at work. It wasn't anything too exciting, just your standard mid-sized city. It was a Tuesday evening when the first strange thing happened. I was driving home from work, which, mind you, is just a short 15-minute commute, and I was listening to a podcast when my phone buzzed. It was a notification I had never seen before. AirTag found moving with you. At first I thought it was a mistake. Maybe someone had dropped their keys in the parking lot, or maybe it was just one of my friends playing a prank. But as soon as I opened the notification, I was horrified. The app said the AirTag had been moving with me for over an hour. That meant it had been in my car the entire commute, or worse, in the parking lot before I even got in. I checked the back seat, under the seats, in the glove compartment, and even in the trunk, but there was nothing. No AirTag, and beyond that, there was nothing unfamiliar or out of place either. I instantly knew what was going on. Someone had placed an AirTag in my car, and whoever it was knew where I went. Worse, they knew where I was. I tried to stay calm, but it was hard. Unable to find the AirTag, I had no choice but to drive home, meaning I'd be leading a potential stalker directly to my apartment, but I had no other option. Once I got home, I checked my car again, this time more thoroughly. I still couldn't find it though, despite my phone insisting it was there. The logical part of me wanted to call the police, but I hesitated. What could they do? There was no device to show them, and even if there was no direct evidence of who had placed it. I calmed myself down with some reassuring facts. My apartment had decent security, so it wasn't the end of the world if someone knew where I lived, and it wasn't like I could undrive home. Whoever the AirTag belonged to already knew my location, which no police or anyone else could change, so I tried to ignore it. The next morning, I drove to work as usual. The notification popped up again when I got to work, but I ignored it. Despite my efforts, I didn't get much done that day. I couldn't stop thinking about the stupid AirTag. When I got home that evening, I decided I had to find the thing. I spent probably an hour going through my car checking every possible hiding spot, even though I had already checked most of them the day before. Right when I was about to give up again, I ran my hand along the crack where the back seat meets the back and my fingers hit something solid. I already knew what it was. I took the thing inside, trying to ignore how violently my hands were shaking. I ended up just taking the battery out of it because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to destroy it because it could have been used as evidence, but I didn't like the thought of it still being active. The thought that someone had been watching my every move for days, maybe weeks, made me feel exposed in a way that I had never felt before. That night, while I was trying to sleep, I kept thinking about who could have planted that thing in the first place. There were a fair share of guys in my life, ex-boyfriends, friends of friends, flings, but no one who would have done something so messed up. The next evening, I came home late from work after a pretty awful day. I went to unlock my apartment door, something I had done 100 times, and I froze. My apartment door was already wide open. I live alone. No one, not my parents, not any of my friends, should have been inside. I didn't go inside. That would have been a terrible decision. Instead, I went straight back to my car and called the police. They checked the apartment thoroughly. There was no definitive evidence of anyone ever being there. No fingerprints, no forced entry, nothing to indicate someone had actually been inside. I ended up showing them the AirTag notifications and told them everything that had been happening the past few days. The police kept asking me if I had a history of being stalked, or if I knew anyone who would do such a thing, but I didn't. The whole thing was such a nightmare. Things did die down slightly after that. My stalker had probably gotten wind of the police visit, but I ended up moving out anyway. Luckily, I don't think that person followed or tracked me to my new place, but it still gets at me that someone in my life stalked and broke into my apartment. The worst part though, the thing that makes this all so scary, is that I still have no idea how they broke into my apartment in the first place. The door wasn't damaged or broken into. It was simply unlocked with a key that no one else should have had.